Welcome, everyone, to the Simple Conversations podcast show. I am your host, Daniel Balwager. Man, today is a beautiful day. We have a full house tonight. We got a live studio audience. Make some noise, people. What's up? Yeah, I love it. I'm telling you, we got such a special guest. I mean, this is a guest I'm really excited about. I am a real fan of this guy. This guy is amazing. He has accomplished so much. So let's just get right into the interview. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to introduce a musical force in the world of rhythm and soul. With a track record that resonates excellence, this man has etched his name in the industry with a list of many achievements. This multifaceted musician, producer, and vocalist has graced the stages of NPR's Tiny Desk, BET Awards, and Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. His melodies have also found a home on television, complementing the stories of the hit series The Chi and Power Book 2 Ghost. He has also collaborated with other remarkable talents in the game, such as India Shawn, Brick Liam, Shensia, Mariah the Scientist, Ari Lennox, Josie. I mean, the list just goes on, man. And now he holds the prestigious honor of being a two-time Grammy nominee for his exceptional contributions to P. Diddy's Love album and Summer Walker's Clear 2 Soft Life album. I welcome Camden, New Jersey native and Wilberforce University alum, Remey Williams. Welcome, Remey.
Man, thank you. That was an amazing introduction. Thank you.
Bro, but you're an amazing person.
Man,
You've accomplished so much in your life, man. I'm just grateful that you actually wanted to come, spend time with me, and have an awesome conversation, man. Thank you.
Oh, man, of course, man. You're my friend. You're my brother, man. You're my alumni. What is it, alumni?
Yes, alumni. Yeah.
So, I'm happy to be here, man.
Yes, but Remey, I feel like you have an amazing story to tell. You didn't just become a Grammy nominee out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you've been a talented artist. I've seen you live. I've seen you perform. You've done some dope stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just really want to know how it all started, your journey, your musical journey. So I'm going to pull a brown sugar here.
Okay.
All right. Okay. When did you fall in love with music?
When did I fall in love with music? Okay. Let's take it back to Camden, New Jersey. I grew up in the church. My mother was a missionary at the church, and my father was a musician. He played bass. So downstairs in my mom's house, she would have, it was my mother's and my father's. They would have like this old school cassette tape record player thing. And they would have all these old records of Sister Sledge, the OJs, Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass. And sometimes I would just go down there and just play those tapes. And then my father at his house, he had a whole studio. My father was the bass player for the OJs, and he played for some of those artists. He was the bass player for, he worked as a musician for the Sounds of Philadelphia, Gamble and Huff. So he played for Teddy Pendergrass, Patti LaBelle, Sister Sledge, the OJs. I mean, the list goes on. So I kind of got the best of both worlds as far as R&B and soul and gospel. So just merging all those together with my mom going to church and hearing, my mother was a singer. So, at my mom's house, her being a singer and my father being a musician, I just found a love for it, it just grew with me, and it's something that I just can't get out now.
So being around other musicians, were there any particular instruments that you were really drawn to, or certain sounds of music that you really liked?
Yes. I was definitely drawn to drums. Being at church, Jesus Christ. I was at church with my mom every day. It felt like every day. Okay. Talking about Bible study, second service, prayer, midnight prayer.
Well, being there that long, what were the things that you really enjoyed about church? What did you like being there?
Music. That was the only thing that really kept me there, just to keep me from going insane. I mean, of course, I love God, but it was like me being a young kid. I'm just like, all right, I love God, but every day at the church. So I just
I understand. I grew up in the church too. I really, when it comes to that experience, going every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday night sometimes, and then now even Sunday, and twice Sunday. I can understand that experience for sure.
Yeah, it was a lot, man. So I had to find something, and the musicians at my church, the church I grew up in. Was called Fort Memorial Temple. It's in Philadelphia, and it's where some of the best musicians played. I met so many amazing musicians, and that's where I learned to actually play drums. So I found my love for playing drums there. And yeah, ever since then, it was just like I never wanted to stop playing drums. My father found out that I started playing drums. And I went to a studio one day, and he, what is the name of that song? I think it was either a 112 song or a Montel Jordan song. And I just hopped on his octapads that he had. And he heard me playing, and it just happened naturally. I just started playing a rhythm. And he was like, okay. So he put on a metronome. And for those who don't know what a metronome is, it's something that keeps time. It's like a BPM. It lets you know as far as the beats permitted and everything. So he said, I'm going to put this metronome on, and you just play to this. You just play to this metronome. So I'm playing, and even though it was hard to lock in, I was young. I didn't know. And he'll peep in, and then he'll just leave out, go back in, leave out. And then he told me, if you stick with this instrument, and you play the way you're playing right now, if you're playing pocket, you'll be paid for the rest of your life. Just play pocket, you'll be paid for the rest of your life. And I kept that with me, and here I am today, years later, I'm still playing drums. So
wow, that's amazing. So I could see that your father was a big influence in your life.
Absolutely.
Were there any other music influences in your life that you really looked to other than your father?
Yeah. Vocally, as far as singing, growing up, I was just a different kid, man. In high school, I felt like I was like the soul R&B guy. I used to listen to Music Soul Child a lot, like heavy. While I was in high school, I would listen to Kiara Sheard. She's a gospel singer. I would listen to Usher while I was in high school, of course. And then being around my sister and my brother, they introduced me to some amazing artists as well that if it wasn't for them, pretty much they play a huge role in my music today, like Lauryn Hill, D'Angelo, The Roots, India Arie. They will play these artists in their car. It was just a neo-soul vibe. That's what we grew up listening to. So those are just a few of many artists that inspired me. So,
wow, that's amazing, man. Mm-hmm. So, at what point in your life did you realize, man, I'm really good at the drums?
When I got called to play at my church, I felt like that was a big deal. I felt
in public and in front of
everybody.
How big was the audience at that time?
At that time, our church was jumping like every Sunday. It was like second service. If you play at second service, you dope. You're dope. Yeah, you're pretty dope. For me, when I got that call, one of the musicians, his name was Spanky. He plays drums for, everybody. And my boy John Lawson, they used to be out of town. They used to tour a lot. So I got the call. It was like, hey, man, we're going to need you to fill in and play drums. And when I got the call, I was so nervous. I'm like, oh, my God, because all these musicians play for big-time artists. And me, I play for nobody, So here's my chance to not really prove myself, but it's like, all right, here we go. We're going to play. We're going to learn. And it was rough. It was really rough because I got thrown in the fire, but it built me up. It toughened me up, and it got me right for the music industry to be able to play how I do today. Shout out to Jamar Jones and Omar Edwards and Dwayne Moore. Those guys, they got me right, man. So
yeah, that was going to be my next question. Who was the people that you saw that really saw something in you, or they believed in you to even give you that opportunity? Because I know that could be very difficult, where it could be where the church is falling short on a certain position.
Yeah.
And then now you are the guy that's ready to step up and then get in there. So they're already moving business as usual. And then now you're thrown in there. How do you really handle all that?
You just got to roll with it, man. It was just like, we're here now. And you will hope that you get that call. You know, I think as far as any musician who started out in the church, you first get an opportunity to play for offering, you know, or you get to play for the children's choir, you know. And I'm like, okay, this is my opportunity. I got to go for it. The first time that happened, it was terrible. I did a terrible job. I got kicked off the drums. It was like, man, you ever you ever did something bad and somebody just gave you the pat on the back, like, man, that's all right. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry.
It's all right, young fella. You'll get it next time.
Man,
you know,
just keep God first, man. That's all. And I felt like that's what I got. But the second time, of course, I was in high school. I was a little more mature, and I knew what to do. I think around that time, that's when they started to trust me, and I just kept getting called back, you know, out, and I was like the fill-in guy, just pretty much paying my dues. And I'll never forget, it was one service. It was the second service, and it was crazy. Like, all the top musicians were in there, and the drummers who I was filling in for all sat on the front row. Like, and I'm just like, okay, heart beating all fast. I'm like, here we go, man. I don't know, man. So we're playing like some of the biggest songs that we usually play at the church. And I'm just playing, just being myself. And they start getting hyped, like, yo, you going crazy, you going crazy. Pat me on the back. I'm like, yeah. I think I'm all right. I think I'm a good musician. I think if they're going crazy like this, I got to be doing something right. So
yes, you finally belong here. What was that like?
Here. Yeah. It felt great. It felt really good. I mean, to have, you know, your mentors and the people that you look up to, you know, it was pretty much like a feeling of just being approved. Like, yo, you're killing. I just want to let you know that you're really out here, you're doing a good job. You know, to hear them say that at that time, you know, being a youngin', growing up as a musician, trying to be successful, trying to be a successful musician, it felt really good, you know?
So you've already nailed the musician aspect.
Right.
When did you know that you could sing?
I honestly found out that I can sing in college. Because I was sing at home a lot. But I never really wanted to, like, you know, put it out there in the world. You know what I mean? I did the first time I actually, you know, took a chance as far as singing, it was in high school. I did, what do you call it? The pageant, the homecoming pageant. And, you know, I was trying to be homecoming king or whatever. And this is the first time I signed up for it and all that. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to just try to sing. So I sang Music Soul Child, Just Friends. Man, shut that joint down, bro. I had my rose petals. Had the girls go. I had my boys. We had like a balcony, and then we, you know, of course, we had the regular floor seats. So I told my boys, I'm like, yo, I need you to throw down rose petals at this time when I walk past the balcony and everything. He was like, okay, got you. So I'm singing, dun, 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 dun. You know, and then like, where's it coming from? I wasn't on stage. I was, you know, in the back. It was like, oh my God, where is he at? I'm walking down. As soon as I walk, rose petals drop. They start screaming, oh my God. Start screaming. I'm like, I know, man. I know. It's like that. So they started screaming and all that. And I sang Just Friends. It was really good. That was a great time in life. I felt like a superstar, man. But I still didn't feel confident. I'm like, okay, that wasn't a sign of approval for me. Like, oh, I can sing. When I got to Wilberforce, I don't know if you remember, but they used to do this thing for talent.
Oh, I remember.
First got there. Yeah. And they were like, do we have any other singers in the room? And I think I sang Who Else But God by Ty Tribbett. And at first I was so scared. I'm like, oh, man, they're going to chew me out, man. I'm singing a gospel song.
Well, but what were you doing at Wilberforce music-wise at that time when you were in college?
I had just got there. I was a freshman, and this was like the first week. I think it was like just our welcome week. So I was just being, I was a music major. I was in the choir. I had came to Wilberforce Force for percussion, but at the time they didn't offer percussion, classes or anything. So I said, well, we here, so we ball. So I was like, let me just be in the choir and I'll, study music. So while I was there, we had our 1 week, welcome week and everything. And I sang Who Else But God. And I'm like, here we go. It's the moment of truth here.
Yo, that's brave, because the icebreakers were a time where you really had to step out of your shell, take a risk, get to learn other people, and see what you're about. So if you were willing to actually put yourself out there, whatever it may be, whatever talent you had, that was very big of you. But that could also either help you elevate your status on campus
or shut you down.
Yes, absolutely, for sure.
It'll shut you down. And we had, in 2007, we were class of 2007, we had a really big freshman class. It was a really big class. So for me to sing, everybody started screaming. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I can sing. Okay, I'm all right. I get a pass. I'm good. And from there, I started taking it more serious.
Now that you've went through high school in New Jersey and college in Ohio, when did you make that move to Atlanta and begin your musical journey?
I made that move in 2013. Yeah, 2013, it was time to leave Xenia, Ohio. I really wanted to chase after my dreams to be an artist and a musician. And Atlanta was somewhere I've always wanted to be. It's somewhere I've always wanted to move to. I had this big thing of like, oh, I'm gonna move to Atlanta, and I'm gonna get signed to Zone 4. I don't know if you remember who Zone 4, but Zone 4, I think that was it was with Polo the Don and
Polo the Don, Rich Boy, and
Carrie Hilson. I think it had was Lloyd. I don't know if Lloyd was.
Lloyd wasn't Zone 4 at that point, but.
Yeah,
if he was, we could edit it out. We'll do it. Yeah, there we go.
But I was like, yeah, that's gonna be the dream, man. Nah, I moved here. I got a temp job, gluing boxes together, listening to a pop radio station, and it sucked, man.
And were you single at that time, or were you just solo at your point, or were you in a relationship when you made that move, or how did that go?
Nah, I was in a relationship at that time.
And how did you get that partner to believe in your dreams?
She was a singer as well at the time. Yeah, she was a singer. Well, I think not at the time, but she still is. I believe she still is a singer. And we just both took a chance. We both moved out here, and we were just trying to make it. So I got a temp job. She had got a job at the time, and while we were working these temp jobs, we were still pushing our career, singing, all around Atlanta just to get our name out there, just to get a shot, you know what I mean? And then I got my first shot while being actually on the temp job. I was, my friend, she goes by the name India Shawn. Shout out to India Shawn. She was having auditions for a tour, and it's a crazy story, actually. She was having auditions to go on a tour, and I didn't care how much it was paying. All I knew was I'm like, all right, let me fill this joint out. Let me send out this video of me playing. Mind you, she never met me. She didn't know who I was. I didn't really have any connects like that. I'm like, let me just give it a shot. And she hit me back. We spoke on the phone. Did my first audition, and it was history. So now, that's like my sister. We've done music together. We've toured together, so many things. But yeah, that's how my journey as an artist and a musician started in Atlanta.
And I love India Shawn. Her music is amazing.
Yeah, she's ridiculous, man. She's amazing.
Yeah. So what was it like being in the studio with her and making music together?
Man, it was really cool, man. We've done so many things. We did a remix to one of her songs. What is the name of the song? Why Am I Outer Limits? We've done some cover songs together too. And it's always cool, man. It's a great energy. It's easy, you know.
Man, that's awesome, man. So you said that you're going through this process of performing all over Atlanta and trying to figure yourself out. What was it like just putting yourself out there, knowing at this point now you could sing, you're good, you're also good at the drums, and how do you really just go about trying to find a venue, a place, or someone to even believe in you based off of the talent that you have to say, hey, we'll give you a chance. We'll put you on stage so you could get some exposure.
I mean, it was really difficult, but consistency is the name of the game. Consistency and networking. You won't get any work staying at home. And then also you can't wait on people. That used to, for me, I just got tired of waiting for opportunities or, for things to come my way. So what I started doing was very early on, before they started getting big now, I started doing cover songs. And I started reproducing these cover songs and singing them and putting them on social media, putting them on Facebook, and they started to, build my following up. And that's when people started to realize, oh, he can sing and play. So even by that, I started getting opportunities to not only perform around the city, but also to go on tour. My first tour, because of that, I got to go on tour with Ruth B. She's an artist out of Canada. She's an amazing artist. And from there, I mean, the list goes on. But being able to, push yourself to create your own opportunities, networking, consistently, getting your name out there, consistency, that's the name of the game. Nobody's going to do it for you, So I had to do that every day, whether I wanted to or not.
Yeah. I mean, because that's another thing I'm actually interested in are really those tough times where you had to really question if this really worth it.
Yeah.
Why am I even doing this?
Yeah.
There's so many other talents out there that are trying to make it happen. Why do I feel like this is my journey and the path that God wants me to go on?
To be honest, even throughout the journey, when it was hard, I gotta be honest, I had moments where I did want to quit, but I gotta say, I never second guessed that it wasn't possible. I never second guessed nah, this is my calling. Anything that's worth having or, anything that's, working hard for, it's supposed to be hard, it's not going to just be given to you. So for me, I'm like, all right, I know it's going to be a journey to get where I really need to be. And I'm still on that journey today, but for now, I'll just continue putting in the work, continue building brick by brick. So I can't give up. I'm in too deep. You know what I mean? I just graduated, I'm from college. I'm here. I took the chance. And you mean to tell me I'm here in Atlanta and I'm just going to give up now? That's weird. For me, that just feels, it's just weird.
Well, how is it finding your community, other artists out there that were just like you? They're trying to make it too.
Yeah.
How is it building those connections, those relationships, and who are the people that you saw that were just as talented as you, or you feel like you were as talented as you are, and they're trying to make it just like you are?
The crazy thing is, most of the people around me, when I first moved to Atlanta, first, are we just talking about the people in Atlanta or just people in general?
Yeah, we could go general in Atlanta, or any people that really just stand out to you, because it's like you run across all different peoples from all walks of life, right?
Yeah,
they could be in New Jersey, they could be in Ohio, they could be here in Atlanta. So, who were the people that you were able to build a community with that were talented just like you were in this music game just like you were, and were able to try to find a way to create a platform like you?
Okay. When I first moved to Atlanta, I got to say it was like almost being in college again. I feel like it's like a melting pot. It's like so many people move to Atlanta to be successful, and I feel like you're a freshman all over again. You meet the class of whoever, and you're all just trying to make it. So you meet a lot of amazing people. So going to jam sessions, going to just simple networking events, you find friends. Those friends, right? You can compare them to like classmates. You're going to see them everywhere you go. Why? Because we all have the same goal. We're trying to be successful, and they all inspired me. We started to do our own shows together. We built it together from the ground up when nobody else didn't give us a chance. We were, when we got to know, we built our own. Yes, we made our own tables. You know what I mean? And now today, everybody's flourishing. Everybody's doing well. Everybody had the mindset of, I can't take no for an answer. Like, I can't be okay with just being okay. You know what I'm saying? With just taking mediocrity. You know what I mean? So I think it's important, just putting this out there, I think it's very important to know who your circle is and be very mindful of your circle. You can't have anybody in here who's going to be half-assing or being 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's like, is this what you want to do? And make sure like their vibe is in check. Like, you don't need any negativity, and nobody was like that. Everybody's doing their own thing, and they're doing very well. So I got to shout out, all of my friends and all of my peers in Atlanta. You guys helped me and pushed me to be better, and congratulations as well.
Man, congratulations to all of them. So how did it feel to just find other people that love music just like you do and are able to match your energy, being in that space with them? And then now they're also seeing how you're flourishing. How is that like?
It's amazing, man. I think it's like when you meet up, it sometimes feels like a family reunion, or it's like, man, it's amazing because you know this person's story. It's like, you don't know their story, but you know it because we've all had to do some things to get here. We've all had to work hard to get in the position that we're in. Like, say, perfect example, good friend of mine, Mac Wells, right?
Yep, no, Mac, another Wilberforce alum.
Exactly.
Yes, he's the man, of course, yeah.
One day, I was out of town. I think I was on tour with Earth Gang at the time, and we were opening up for the Gorillas in L.A. And Mac, but I call him Mike.
Yes.
He texted me. He was like, "Yo, bro, you in L.A.?" I was like, "Yeah." By the way, shout out to Mac. He's an amazing actor. I mean, A1. He was like, "Yo, you in LA?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in LA." He was like, "Bro." He's like, "Yo, let's link up." Mind you, we both live in Atlanta. We both moved to Atlanta. We told each other like, "Yo, when we move to Atlanta, we're gonna take over." I've literally watched Mike from the time he got here to now. Like, his story, I've been there. I've seen his whole journey. So for both of us to be in LA, to meet up, driving around LA, he has a shoot. I think he was shooting at like Paramount Studios or something like that. And I have a show at the Forum. I'm playing with Earth Gang at the Forum in LA, opening up for the Gorillas. And we're both like, that's a crazy moment. And for us, it felt like a family reunion because it's like, I know the work he put in to get here. You're in LA shooting for a TV show, and I'm here living my dream playing at the Forum. This was a dream of mine to perform here since Space Jam. That was the first time I saw the Forum. I'm like, this is crazy. So it will forever be that feeling to any person I see who worked just as hard for me. Just as hard as I did to get here. It's always love. And it should never be jealousy, and it never will. So,
yes, like, how does it feel like living the life that you're living and living your truth? Because sometimes it's tough to be in this music industry where you are being yourself, or maybe you're being yourself and it's too much. How do you find that balance of just continuing to just be Remey Williams?
God, and I know who I am. I think this is just my opinion. From what I've seen in the music industry, I think sometimes, not everybody, put that out there. I feel like it's like this facade that you got to be a narcissist or you're better than everybody or whatever it is. For me, I'm going to be Remy regardless. And I think that's just from my upbringing. I just know who I am. That doesn't mean I'm going to be like super humble to the point where I'm like, I become unnoticeable. It's like, oh, he's just in the back. Now I'm confident in who I am. It's just, I don't have to change for anybody. And I think that comes with like a lot of self-work, you know what I mean? Understanding your worth, knowing who you are, and not letting this industry, this world, or people change you. Because you can really get lost in the mix, especially in the music industry. Because so many people want it that bad that they'll do anything for it. And for me, I'm like, nah. If it doesn't fit my vibe, if it's not me, then we're going on to the next until it is. And that's another reason why I'm building my own foundation. So nobody has to feel like they own any of me either. It's like, I'd rather work hard and take the long way and get it on my own rather than taking the short way. You know what I mean? Oh, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. But you don't know what price you got to pay once you're in this situation with this person or with whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? So,
well, how many quote unquote short way opportunities have come your way and you've decided to turn down?
Oh, a lot. There's been a lot. You get offered, especially when you're getting placements with artists. They see that. It's almost like Rico Love said something, and I'll never forget it. He said, imagine everybody, they know who you are, but they pay you no attention. But once you start jumping, they pay you attention, right? And then this girl out of nowhere comes. They said, now I want to get with you, but I only want to get with you because you're jumping. But the moment you're not jumping, I don't want anything to do with you. And that's how labels are sometimes. That's how the industry could be sometimes. You know what I mean? Like for me, when I got those first couple placements on Summer's album, I got a lot of emails about people, hey, man, we want to sign you as far as we want to give you a publishing deal. We want to do this for you. We want to do that for you. They dangle money in front of you, and it's like, you take it. Some people would take it, but it's like, at what cost does it come with it? Sometimes you take this money, and now you're owing thousands more. You know what I mean? And it was never worth it. You know what I mean? So for me, I can see, what's going on. Of course, I have an attorney and I have PRs and I have close friends around me who can definitely let me know and, bring me back down to earth if I see something. I'm like, yo, this is fire, yo. He said this, he said that. They'd be like, yeah, we're going to pass. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, we're going to pass. You didn't see this. You didn't see that. And they show me all this. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to relax.
Well, of course you can see through those dope-ass glasses you got on at the moment, so it's all good.
Thank you, man.
Well, speaking of Summer, perfect segue since you mentioned her name.
Mm-hmm.
How did your talents get discovered by Summer Walker? And what is your personal relationship with her like?
Summer, man, that's family. That's my sister, man. Like, I've been with her since the beginning. My friend Alex Jack, we started out playing with a group by the name of Saint Beauty. And we went on tour with Janelle Monáe. We opened up for her. What was the name of that tour? Dirty Computer Tour. And I think a couple months later, as soon as we got off that tour, he gave me a call. He said, hey, what are you doing from like October to December? I'm like, nah, I'm open. I mean, we literally just finished the tour. He was like, yo, I need you to learn these songs by this artist named Summer Walker. I never heard of her at the time. I'm like, all right, bet. He was like, and then I need you to pull up to the rehearsal probably like in 2 days. I'm like, okay, cool. He calls me a couple minutes later. He said, yeah, I need you to learn them now. Can you be here in an hour? I said, all right.
And what you're learning is music for like the drum parts of her music?
Yeah.
Okay.
This was like her first project. I don't think it dropped yet. And I came into the rehearsal and I met up with my boy Larry. We both got called in to audition, and he just told me, he's like, bro, just play your parts. That's all you got to do, just play your parts. So I played my parts, and from there on, it was just history. We've done so much together, and she gave me an opportunity to write on her project. The first project we actually worked on with her was the Clear EP, and I got to do it with my brothers, Larry Lambert, Darnell Stockstill, Tim Maxey, Archer. We all worked on those records together with her, and they're amazing records. And after that, it was just, a snowball effect. We worked on a couple more projects and a couple more songs.
So not only are you a musician on the drums, not only are you a singer, you're a writer as well. Yes. How did that even come about? And just saying someone believing in your writing ability, and let alone even being Summer Walker to see your writing ability and your musicianship and tying that all in together. What was that like?
Man, it was pretty cool, man. I think for me, well, let's just start off with the writing. I think writing just came to me because I'm like, at some point, I'm the type of person, I'm like, all right, I'm tired of calling everybody to be like, hey, can you do this for me? Can you play on this? Can you sing on this? Can you write on this? I mean, I'm the only one here and I want it done now, so let me just give it a try. And I just found out that I was good at it, and I kept practicing, and I got better and better, and that's how the writing came about. And I'm just happy to be, producing and writing for other artists. It's really dope.
So you've been on countless shows with Summer Walker. You've been on tour all over the States and the world. Mm-hmm. What is it that you've learned from her when it comes to being in this game, and how is she incorporated in your solo career?
What I've learned from being on the road with Summer is people are sometimey, like, and you can't believe all that you see online. Like I've been right there with her at certain places, and the rumors that were started about her that weren't even true. It's like, I know what not to do. You know what I mean? I think you learn a lot behind the scenes, and you get to learn how to maneuver when it's like, okay, if that ever happens to me, I'm a chill on this, or I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna move a certain way, and I've seen her move in a certain way that I'm like, man, that was really dope. But she did that. It was smooth. You know what I mean? And also I've seen her. She learned from certain mistakes that she may have slipped out, or she's very. One thing I love about Summer is she gonna speak her mind, whether people like it or not. You know what I mean? If you don't like it, that's fine. It's her opinion. It doesn't matter. And she's not going to care. She's just not. And I love that about her. Like, she used to be the type, like, in the beginning, it'd be like, yo, we want you to wear this. We want you to wear that. And she'd be like, yeah, nah, I'm not doing that. And it'd be like, why? She's like, because that's not me. I'm not doing that. And I love that about her. And, as an artist just coming out, sometimes they'll have artists doing whatever. They become puppets, so I love that. It's like she stood on her ground. That's dope. So shout out to Summer, man. She a real one, man. She's a real one.
And how do you stand on business as a solo artist yourself? How do you establish yourself when it comes to certain things that are coming your way, and making sure you stay true to you?
I do right by people. I make sure everything is in black and white. On the email thread, receipts, just in case people try to switch some things around. Well, now I got it in my email. It's backed up on my file. So, I mean, you can, you know what I mean? But the biggest thing is I feel like it's very important to do right by people because it will come back and bite you in the ass if you don't. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how well you're doing in life. I feel like it's important to be nice to people because you don't know how much time you got. You don't know how long you're going to be jumping as an artist, and the person that you could have been talking down about on the way up, when you on your way down, and you need that feature, but they remember you trash talk them. Yeah, they're going to probably kick you down the steps, and I'm all right, bro. Or they're going to probably tax you. Crazy. So it's just I've learned to just do right by people and be nice to people. Just be yourself. You know.
Well, I appreciate you being nice to me.
Yeah,
and
man.
coming, hanging out, and talking and stuff. This is awesome.
You thought I was gonna be mean?
No, I didn't think that at all. I mean, hey, you could be like, hey, I'm a 2-time Grammy nominee. You know, I could talk all whatever I want to talk and just go there. Hey, you know, but you earned it too. Like you've been there. Like I think that if the perception of what it is, especially of all you accomplished, for you to still even be this humble and also have this much gratitude and to even be here, like it really says a lot about you as a person. Like you're not only just saying what you're doing, but you actually live this.
Yeah.
And there's even so much more we even got to discuss. We haven't even talked about your solo project, which I really want to get into, man.
Let's do it, man.
Which
Let's
is awesome. So please tell me about 08105. 08105. Your first solo album.
Yes.
How was that actually completing that project? And putting yourself out there and saying, it's one thing to play background. It's one thing to open for other people. It's one thing to do covers for other people. But now saying, there is music that speaks to me. This is music that is about me, that I am writing, that I am producing. This is me.
Yeah.
And I want to share this with the world. Yeah. How is that?
It felt amazing. I think for me, 08105, for the people who don't know, because a lot of people ask me, what does that mean? What is 08105? 08105 is the zip code of where I'm from. I'm from Camden, New Jersey. It was that project for me just signifies intro to Remey. So it's like, okay, this is my official music journey as a solo artist. Have I put music out before? Yeah, but I grew up a lot as a producer, as an artist. And I wanted to, I've done a lot of reinventing myself, my music, and I'm still doing that. And this was just chapter 1 of my project, my life, who I am, where I come from, the things that I lost, and also things that I've gained. You know, I gained a whole new wife, a whole wife. And I also lost my father in the same year. You know what I mean? So that project has a lot of meaning to me. You know,
when you were going through that process of writing these tracks, writing this music, compiling all of this together, was there any specific track that really stood out to you, that really meant a lot to you, that you would like to break down?
Yeah, Lost Ones. Lost Ones was probably, that was the hardest song one of the hardest songs I ever had to write, because it was around the time that my father passed. It was a lot going on. So when my father passed, I was in the studio working on Summer's project, the Still Over It project. So it was just like, while things were going great in my career, it was like, yo, this is like one of the biggest moments in my career, but then it's also like one of the most terrible moments in my career. I just found out that my father had a stroke and he's in the hospital, and I have to say goodbye. You know what I mean? While I got to go back to a session in a couple of days later to finish up a project. So I wasn't able to really breathe. I wasn't really able to take it all in. You know what I mean? I about my father passing, and I didn't cry. I couldn't cry. Um, I just couldn't just receive it all. So by the time I sat down and wrote Lost One, shout out to my brother Solomon who helped me write it, because sometimes as a writer, I'm speaking for myself. Sometimes I can't get all of my feelings across. So I have my friends help me co-write certain songs. I'm like, how can I say this without being so long-winded? It's like, what are you saying? Just get to the point. What's the punchline? So he really helped me with that song. And I'm like, wow, like when we finished it, this is something that I would say. Like it's such a beautiful song. So after we finished the session, mind you, I never cried. I'm not a crier. Like I don't cry. Like I'll always be a thug first. You know what I'm saying? Remember that. You know what I'm saying? But when he left the session, I was at home by myself, and I played it back, and I'm listening to the words. And while I'm listening to the words, it was like tears just start falling. Like, and I remember calling my wife, and I boo-hooed. I don't think I cried like that since I've never cried like that since my mother passed. You know what I mean? And when I let it out, it was like it was a long cry, bro. Like I probably cried for like 10, 15 minutes straight. That's a long cry for me. I don't know how long it is for everybody else, but that was the hardest song that I had to write.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. I know that could be very tough to speak about, but can you share how it was when you were going through your musical journey and you were starting to go on the rise, and the time that your father was a part of that, and you could share that with him?
Oh, man. That was around the time. Okay. So Summer had dropped her Over It album. And my dad will always one up me. I'll be like, yo, Dad, like, we'll talk about music all the time, touring and everything. Like, he'll be the first person I'll talk to if I'm going somewhere. I'm like, yo, Dad, guess where I'm at right now? He's like, where you at? I'm like, I'm in London. He's like, oh, yeah, I remember I was there before, when I did this with the OJs. He's like, how is it? You been to so-and-so? I'm like, yep. Yeah, I've been there. I went. And he'll be like, anyway, I got to be in Dallas. He'll play around and stuff. And then, but he would be so excited. I'll tell him. So I'll tell him about, everywhere I've been, how the shows were. And after he retired, he would just watch online, and I would talk to him about it. He was like, boy, he was like, you on the move, ain't you? And he would be so proud. And we would talk about tour, just the things that he used to do, things that I never thought he did. I'm like, I remember one time I talked to him about the first time I smoked weed on tour, and I'm like, Dad, I smoked weed on tour. He was like, oh, man, I smoked weed on tour too. And I'm like, what? He was like, man, I used to be high as I don't know what. I'm like, man. And me being a kid, I was like, I thought all my dad smoked was cigarettes. He said he was lit. But I wasn't a smoker. I just tried it. You know what I mean? We were in Amsterdam, and we were smoking, man. I was smoking with my friends. They are like champs at smoking, and they were like rolling around like blunts. I'm like, all right, bro. Like, I'm tired, bro. And it'll be another one. Somebody will pass like, yo, here you go, my boy. Like, hey, man. I'm like, I don't want no more. I'm done. I'm tired. Leave me alone. And I was so high, man. So I talked to him about that. We just had funny moments about that. But it was really great having those conversations, man. And that was my guy. That was my best. That was like my best friend.
Yeah. What are the things that you really admire about your father that really stick out to you, and what are the things that you've learned from him?
Man, it was so crazy because before he passed, the year before he passed, he let me do an interview with him, and he laid everything out, and he talked to me about the music industry, He said, just because it seems like they're friends and they smile in your face, he's like, that don't always mean that they're your friends. He said, always remember that you need to see everything in black and white. Make sure that your business is always straight. He said, because their face can change. That face will change. And you see who they really are when you see it on paper. When you start to see the percentages, sometimes we ain't really you ain't really friends when you see that percentage or you see those numbers. So that's one thing he did talk to me about. We had conversations about being a musician while being in a relationship. And he talked to me about balance. And he said, sometimes you are going to have to sacrifice. Sometimes you may want to be in the studio all day. He was like, but you got a wife now, bro. He said, just put the laptop down just for a couple hours. All she wants is a little time, a little quality time, to be with you, find out her love language. One of the biggest things was, with my wife, she never got to meet him face to face, but she met him on FaceTime, and he was so happy. He told me to take her to one of my shows with Summer. He was like, just show her what you're doing. He was like, because sometimes women could be like, I know he probably up there, he all up in these women's faces and this and that. And she, my wife is not like that. But she, sometimes women can call at any time. It's like, yo, babe, let me call you back. And then they call again later on, babe, let me call you back. Well, what you doing? That's so, you're so busy. So when I brought her to a festival, Camp Flognaw, and she saw she was with me for the whole rundown. She saw my sound check. She saw me change. She saw me rehearse, all the stuff, And when she saw that, she was like, okay, I understand. You know what I mean? I see what you're doing. So she now knows, like, okay, hey, if I say, babe, let me call you back, I'll call her back. She won't call me back after I said, hey, I'm going to call you back. And she won't get mad if I say, yo, I'm going to call you back after I told her I'm going to call you back. So, yeah, he definitely gave me the rundown as far as relationships and stuff. But yeah, man, we've had some great conversations, man. I wish I could have had some more conversations like that with him, but I am grateful for the ones that I do have.
Well, how was the dynamic between your mother and your father, Jimmy and Linda, and like, and how did they make it work and be able to create Remey Williams?
I hope I don't get in trouble for this. So they were separated. And well, when I came in the picture, they were separated. From what I heard, my sister told me that my dad was creeping. He came back one more time to clap my mom's cheeks. So I don't know. I don't know the whole story, and I could be wrong. I don't.
It's a wild time. I mean, hey, in the '60s, we don't have social media. We don't have none of that. You know
what I'm saying? Hey. I don't know, but that's his wife. He could spin the block and get the clap the cheeks. And she was in the church, and she needed some whatever, man. Man, you asked me this question, man.
No, well, you could have told the love version. I mean, it could have been a nice, sensitive version. Okay, if this is the case, all right, how about this? Mm-hmm. They were obviously still in love. There's a reason why he had to go back and clap the cheeks.
Yeah, there was a reason for
he really
clappage.
Yes, he really cared about your mother. All right.
I think they both, they had a love for each other, but they were separated all that time. But I felt like, yeah, they always had a love for each other, but they just never worked it out. And there were some issues, that I can't, put out there. But I felt like if they could have been resolved, it would have been great. I think it was issues on probably both sides.
And what was your mother's influence on your life?
I would say just church. She loved God like a lot. Like she didn't play. Like she did not watch scary movies. If it was a sex scene that came on, I had to go to the closet until it was over. So that was all that's all I had with my mom. My mom was very She was very strict. I feel like we got into it a lot, but I have mad love for her though. It was just how she was raised, man. It was just the church in her, man. So I still love her to death, yo. I will be honest and say, like, I feel like, my father and I, our relationship was a little stronger only because of, music. But yeah, I'll always have love. And I love my mom forever, man. You know. So
That's what's up. But how did it feel to be the son of a musician? Now that you're a musician, you are an adult, looking back on your father and seeing how the industry is, how did you view your father at a young age?
at a young age, I don't think I truly understood who my dad was. Like until like I got older. So for me, I'm like, I was just being a kid. I'm like, yo, that's what's up, man. Me and my dad plays music too. He getting that check. He bringing me those video games, that I want, But then like around my teenage years, that's when I started, paying more attention because he started teaching me more about the music game. We started spending more time talking about the music industry and the music game and music theory. So, but when I got in my 20s, the music that I was listening to and I was researching, I started seeing my dad's name come up a lot. And it'll be like deep cuts as far as like artists that he's worked with. And I mean, his discography is crazy. And then once I got in production and he really told me, like, he was like, just look up my name. And I looked at that discography. I'm like, yo.
Because the way you're talking about it, it makes me feel like he never really forced you into this. This is a life that you were able to choose.
Yeah. I think the only time he really got mad at me as far as anything with music is when he put me in music settlement school. And music settlement school was like just a school, of course, for music, and they help you read music. They teach you how to play jazz, all that good stuff. And I dropped out because I didn't feel like taking the bus, just being spoiled. And he was like, man, I'm paying all this money for you to go to school and you're not going. It's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I think just me growing up and just learning all the things that he's done in the music industry. One of the biggest songs that, like, as far as the bass line that he played on is by McFadden and Whitehead, Ain't No Stopping Us Now. That's like a huge anthem. You know what I mean? And Love TKO, Teddy Pendergrass, Turn Off the Lights. You know what I mean?
Keep going. Keep going. Is there more? I know there's more.
Come on over to my place. Come on and go.
Yes,
away.
I love that song.
Come on over to my. That's him. Turn Off the Lights. Patti LaBelle. If only you knew how much I do. That's him. Come on, the OJ's. Jesus Christ. I think he was on Used to Be My Girl. It's so many, man. It's so many amazing songs that he's a part of. And I'm trying to catch up.
Man, that's dope. So what is it that you miss about your father?
Everything. Yeah, I miss everything. I miss being able to, I wish when I got the news as far as being Grammy nominated, because I honestly did it for him after he passed. When I got the news, he was the first person I wanted to call. And I couldn't do that. And I called my sisters, I called my brothers, but it's still, I still don't feel complete because I can't call him or tell him. You know what I mean? I miss those talks. You know, both of my parents are gone, so as far as marriage advice, I can't talk to him. You know what I mean? My wife, you know, I can't fly down to see him and we can't have dinner. I can't take him out. I can't do that with my mom or, you know, any of my parents. Well, neither one of my parents. So having those moments or simply just talking about music or just his daily calls. Like he'll just call, be like, hey, Rim, just checking up on you. Or tell me about something that's going on. Yeah, I miss all that, man. You know, it's very bittersweet. I'm not trying to get all mushy, but
Hey, I'm here for it, man. I'm here for the mushy, you know.
yeah.
Talk whatever makes you feel good, man. You know,
Yeah.
because I think it's amazing. I think we need to celebrate our parents, our fathers, our mothers, the people that have shaped us and made us.
Yeah.
You know, who you are, it just didn't just come out of nowhere, right? You had to learn from all these different experiences based off of where you're placed and where you grew up. So
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing to celebrate them. And for you to have a father and a mother in your life that really loved you and cared about you, wanted to have the best for you, it's an amazing feeling, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. It's not easy, you know, because they're not here, but I know I will continue to make them proud, you know, every day, you know.
You're doing it, man. You're doing it. You're right here. You're existing. You're living. You're doing great, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
That means a lot, man.
For sure. Amidst all of your achievements, there's a constant pillar of support and love. Your wife, Jessica Williams, a.k.a. JH.
Yes.
When did this love story begin?
It started about 3 years ago. Happened on accident. I don't want to say accident, just happened out of nowhere. It all started with us going to see a movie. We went to go watch The Avengers, and it wasn't even a date. It was just us going to watch the Avengers. And
Was it Avengers Infinity War or Endgame? Which one was it?
I think it was Endgame. It was Endgame. Yep, it was Endgame.
Yes, good one. That was my favorite one, actually.
Yeah. We went to go watch that, and I just remember after leaving, I was like, you know what? I can't wait till I find a woman who has it. I was just looking for a woman who had the same standards as Jay. You know, I wasn't even looking at her. I was like, man, if I ever find somebody who has the standards like her, I'm gonna get her.
What were the list of her standards?
She was just an amazing woman. She was very connected to God. She knew who she was. She was whole. She was very aware of herself. She didn't take no nonsense. She knew what she wanted in a husband and a man. She was patient. She's respectful. She's a friend. She's just simply an amazing individual. And I just loved everything about that. I just loved everything about her. And it just, even to this day, it just continues to grow. That's my stink. So.
That's what's up. So what are the things that she sees in you? What does she appreciate about you?
She appreciates my time, my quality time. She's big on quality time. She really takes pride in me being her husband, being a provider, being loving, being caring, being patient, also being understanding, being a listener. I mean, this is what I think she would say. She tells me these things. So being a listener, being her, her biggest fan, me supporting her in everything that she does. Even at, I think being in a marriage, sometimes you may not fully be full, you'll have those moments where you're not 100% confident in yourself. So it's always good when your significant other can see how amazing you are and see the best in you, and have, they can remind you like, yo, you got to remember who you are. So we do that all the time for each other. You know what I mean? We were like, come on now, you already know. So um, yeah, I think she would say all those things.
So why did you decide to propose and get married?
Um, I just knew one. I knew, and I'll even give a backstory behind that. So around that time, I was single. I was perfectly fine with being single, but I kept hearing God say like, "Yo, I need you to focus and prepare." I had my own place, um, but I wasn't looking for anything. If I wanted to date, I would go on like dates here and there, but nothing serious. And God kept telling me like, "Yo, I need you to just relax. Don't go on no dates. Get yourself together. Become whole. Just get that together. It's something on the way." I'm like, all right, bet. I mean, I feel like I'm straight. My credit's all right. I got some money. I got some money going in. I got a good job. I think I'm all right. Um, and then here she comes along, and I was prepared, but I think mentally I just had to tighten up just a little bit. I think sometimes, as far as men, well, I'll take it back. I think it's very important to realize that not only are women the prize, but men are the prize as well. You know what I mean? Both people are important. And I used to, in past relationships, I'll be honest, I had my share of, showing up to the table, um, thinking of myself as the discount and not as the prize. And I looked at her like, man, she's so amazing and this and that. And I had to check myself like, bro, like you're not a trash ass dude. Just show up, bro. Like you're good. You're fine. And once I had to get that reality check, check myself. Um, Everything got a whole lot better. You know what I'm saying? I took my chances with her, and um I don't want to say take my chances because it wasn't even a chance. I knew it was a great thing and a great yeah, just pretty much a great thing that we have. And I wanted to move on that, and I was listening to God, and it was the right thing to do, and I already knew. I'm like, all right. And it was so easy. It still is easy being with her. Um, we were friends first, and we still are friends today. And I didn't realize how important friendship is in a relationship, and how important that foundation is, of being friends are. Like, I believe that the friendship phase is important because when you have those tough conversations and you don't know that person, you don't know how they're going to react, you don't know what they're going to say, you don't know how to approach them. You don't want to walk out. You don't want to walk on eggshells. But if you know the person, if you're friends with them, I want to talk to my friend about anything, no matter how hard it gets. And that's what I believe, and that's what I know I can do with her. We've been doing it for 3 years, and I think we haven't killed each other. We love each other even more and more every day, and the relationship just gets better and better. I feel like we've been in a marriage for over 20 years. That's what it feels like.
Well, how does it feel to have a person that gets it, be on the same page as you, understand where you're coming from, understand your world, be able to step inside of your shoes?
It's a blessing. It really is a blessing. Because that means she's listening. She's not. There's no selective hearing. She's not only listening to something that she feels is offending her. It feels great. You know what I mean? We just simply have conversations. We never really argue. You know what I mean? We just sit, take our time, and if it's something that I'm not understanding, I'll ask her to say it again. And I know sometimes for me, I can be a little winded when it comes to communicating because it's something that I had to get used to in the beginning, because I didn't know how to truly communicate my emotions. Because of course, growing up, um, we were always taught, don't tell anybody how you feel. Don't show no emotion towards women. You know what I mean? I wasn't really, I was never really in a place where I can really show that or express my emotions. So I had to practice that more and more. And she really supported that when anytime I did express it. And she was patient.
Well, I feel like it's very interesting for you to be a music artist and still figure out ways to have a hard time expressing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you feel like you express yourself more in your music or personally when you're having those conversations with your wife?
Before it was through music, but it wasn't while I was with her. She's the only person literally where I had I can have a conversation with her and express how I feel. She's the first person who actually like opened that door up for me and helped me get to that point to actually be able to express my feelings. And of course, therapy did too, because I needed to know, okay, what is this that I'm feeling? I know that I'm angry, but is it a trigger? Is it something that she did? You know what I mean? Is it something that she said that hit a trigger of mine? And where is this trigger coming from? Is it coming from childhood? Is it, you know what I mean? So I would take some time to, instead of just lashing out or, getting angry and yelling like, yo, why did you say this? Why did you do this? It's like, nah, take that time for a minute, just sit back and just be like, well, what was that? You know what I mean? And then we sit down and have a conversation about it.
How does your relationship with your wife affect you musically?
It doesn't affect me at all. It's a great thing. Because she does music too. She's a singer as well. So she gets it. And that's a plus for me, because sometimes I think the hardest thing is being an artist or a musician or somebody simply who has a dream, or who is an entrepreneur who has a partner that just simply doesn't understand what you do, or just simply doesn't understand you. You know what I mean? Being an artist, I know sometimes it can be complicated, but she's the first person that I want to send my music to. You know what I mean? Once I finish it, because she'll let me know if it's whack, or I should, if I need to change some words, or she'll let me know if it's dope. Um, but there's no effect. I think everything has been just chill. And I appreciate that a lot.
Yes, yeah, you got to have that peace. You got to have that chill, because you're dealing with so many different pressures being in the studio, trying to figure out ways to create. And you're creating at a high level.
Yeah.
You're trying to make number one hits that are trying to hit the billboard and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
So now, how do you feel like you are a benefit in her life? You mentioned earlier, you're talking about being the prize and seeing yourself as the prize.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you give to her to make her a better woman than she is today?
I try to lead by example of um, following your goal, chasing and following your goals. But when you're chasing them, making sure that they are accomplished. And I know sometimes I try to make sure that she doesn't feel like I'm doing so much for myself that when she has a dream, or or if she has a goal, she doesn't feel by herself, because she supports me so much in everything that I do, and I want to make sure it's the same for her. She's an artist as well. She sings, and she does music. So any way I can support, I sit down and ask her, I'm like, what you need, anything you need. How can I support you? You know what I mean? How can I make you feel better? If you're having a terrible day at work, I find out what her love languages are. You know what I mean? Taking that time, being patient in conversations, even when I may not understand. You know what I mean? 100, fully what she's going through at the moment. But I feel like those are things that I've just learned, as far as just simply as being a husband, is just taking your time and learning your person, as far as what makes her tick, the things that, finding out the things that she loves, her dislikes, her trigger points, um, just learning all of her. She's going to evolve. People evolve every day. And I feel like I'm just blessed to get a chance to um, learn a new her every day. You know what I mean? She's growing. I get to see that journey. That's a really dope thing to have with somebody that you love, you know?
Good or bad, what are the things that you've learned from your parents that you carry into your marriage? Now, you being a man, a husband,
Mm-hmm.
and you are in charge of your own family now.
I've learned to keep family out your business, keep friends out your business, keep people out your business. If you guys got something going on, if you're arguing and you're just not seeing eye to eye, it's between both of you guys. You're on the same team. And if you're telling your side of the family one situation, and then I'm telling my family one side of the situation, we're having our families turn on each other. And then when we're all good, her family don't like me. My family don't like her when we all come together. So it's just, I'd rather not. I'd rather we just keep it between us and our household. You know what I mean? Whatever we got going on, we'll make it work. We'll fix it. You know what I mean? And I feel like those moments where you do fix it, that's where the real love comes in. Honeymoon stage is over. Once the honeymoon stage is over, it's like, oh man, I love you. No, I love you. Yeah, once that is over, okay. She doesn't like when I eat my food. I got to turn on music because she has this thing where she feels like I eat too loud, right? And that used to annoy me so bad. I'm like, I just want to eat in peace. But for her, it's a I don't know what it's called when sounds are too loud or well yeah, I don't know I forgot what it's called. She told me what it was, but um when she told me and she ran it down, it was just a solution. It was a solution for me. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just turn the music up. You know what I mean? It's just easy things like that we can fix. Um, which actually brings me to my next thing. If there are any small problems that's something, if it's something that's annoying you, if it's small now, talk to your person about it now so it won't be something huge later on in the relationship. Get all the nooks and crannies out now. Whatever it is, that's why communication is key. Nobody in a relationship is a mind reader. And that's all I got to say.
You're right. Please say that again louder. Yes, nobody is a mind reader, huh?
Nobody is a mind reader. I can't understand what you're thinking about if you're just giving me just the eyes. If I'm saying what's wrong, nothing. Okay. I know something's wrong, but I would like for us to have a conversation about it. If I'm asking you over and over, what's wrong? I'm good. Okay.
So now that you've been a husband for 3 years, what are the things that you feel like you can be a better husband at so that way you can enhance your wife to be a better wife?
Um, I guess I would like to be an even better provider. I just I want my family just to be good. Not saying that they're not good now. They're good. I just um my wife gives me this another level of hustle mode where I don't want her to worry about anything. So I have more than just one business. I have a couple businesses. I just started my luxury transportation business where I have Sprinter vans and cars, and I do it for independent artists when they go on tours and when they travel. They can book through my company. Um, I have my TV syncing business, my music publishing business, all these things going on because I want to be wealthy, and I never want my family to worry about money. That's just one less headache that I just rather not have my family worry about. Um, and I want us to be able to do all the things that my mother or my father never got a chance to do. You know what I mean? I want our opportunities to be endless. I want her to be able to dream and live and do whatever she wants to do. And if I can help her get there, we can just simply do it together, you know?
And what do you love about your wife?
Everything. Everything. Um, I love that she's caring, right? I was I had a cold a couple days ago, and it was just a natural instinct for her. It was like she's very caring, man. It was just she had the whole setup. She worked for Delta, and I was in the bed. I'm like, I'm gonna make it shake, and I'm not the baby kind of person when I get a cold. I can walk around the house. I'll be all right. But for her, she um really took care of me. You know what I mean? Small things like that goes a long way. And I didn't have to ask her. It was just there. It was easy for her. Even for my music, she's very supportive. Like she also does creative design. So um, some of the posts you may see on my page, as far as like flyers, she does that. Um, any type of flyers, any type of graphics, that's her. She's also a tour. She's a stage manager. That's something that she loves to do. So we both support each other. I'm like, I had a show, my OA 105 show, my live show. I'm supporting her dream. She's supporting mine. I was like, I want you to be the stage manager for my show. She did an amazing job. Um, so I know that was kind of off topic, but we were just simply, I'm just simply just talking about how much she cares and her level of support, man. It's amazing, and I appreciate that from her. I love her a lot.
Well, Remy, I love that you're a husband, man. I love that you're a husband. I love that you have a wife that loves you and cares about you, because I know that it's tough to be on this music journey and have someone that matches your energy, especially the amount of focus it takes.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to be in the studio when a major artist calls your name and saying, I need you at a writing camp and I need you for 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And you have no ability to be able to see your family or your wife or anybody of that nature for that time. Mm-hmm. So to have someone in your circle that is able to understand you and be there for you, mm-hmm. and also know that your focus is there so that way you can be in that place to be a provider, that's amazing.
Yeah. And it's actually it's great because she's a flight attendant, she gets to fly for free. So anywhere she could just travel. So if I have like a show somewhere, she could just fly in it. So if I have a perfect example, if I have a session in LA and I have to be out there for 2 weeks, I usually have my own hotel room. So she has friends in LA. So if she has some time off, she'll be like, okay, bet. Then I'll just pull up and fly, fly out there. We'll go on a couple dates. Yep, on my off time. I usually have studio sessions during the nighttime. You know what I mean? And it's a perfect balance, man. I really appreciate her and love her for that, because she just understands my schedule. Sometimes it's just hurry up right now. I gotta go. We sometimes may be in the middle of a date and I may get a call. Yo, I need you in the studio. Summer's working on something. Or, I may get a call from a producer or whoever. And I'm like, hey, babe, I got to go. She was like, bye. I'll see you when you get home. So.
That's what's up, bro. I'm going to hit the clap button for that right there. That's love, man. But now talking about how you're moving in the streets, you're flying everywhere, and then you also have these dope graphics that I see online. Mm-hmm. Maybe your wife even made those as well, because word on the street is that you are the new music mashup king, bro. Can you break down your version of a music mashup, first of all, and how you really go about your process of making this? Because you created such a huge following online based off of the music that you're making and your covers and the beats that you're combining here and there. You're really getting your producer brag, bro. When did this all start?
Man, it started in March.
2023?
2023.
Okay.
Which is crazy. It just blew up. It blew up fast, man. It was just an idea that I had. I love old school music and new school music. new school music. Got tongue tied. And I wanted to merge them together. And I'm a producer, so it was easy for me to like listen to certain songs and hear a certain chord progression, and then mash it with another song. I'm like, oh, this would go perfect with it. But it's all about how you flip it. What kind of groove am I going to give it? Like, I don't want to just put trap drums to everything. I love soul R&B music, so I may put like a Teddy Riley kind of New Jack Swing on this type of beat, but just make it my own. I think that's the dope part about it, and it's storytelling for me. So if I like one of the songs, what was it called? I just did one. My wife and we did one. It was a mashup of "Spend My Life with You" and by Eric Benet, and I think
Tamia, yep. Eric Benet and Tamia, yep.
And we mashed it with "Nothing Even Matters," Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill and D'Angelo.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to make sense. You got to tell a story. There are words there are certain lyrics that can, merge, and it could be a beautiful story. You know what I mean? I don't want to just put the song, two songs together that just don't make sense. It just, for me, it sounds weird.
Well, it just really demonstrates your music knowledge, your education, and what are the kind of music, first of all, we grew up on, but the songs that mean something to our generation.
Yeah.
And it just fits because there's a market for that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you are able to display your art, first of all, your voice.
Yeah.
And your ability to create this musical chemistry.
Yeah.
And make it fit to where people are able to resonate with that and follow that, because these are all songs that have touched us throughout our whole lives.
Yeah. I like to listen to music that makes me feel like how I used to feel back in the day listening to R&B. You ever listen to R&B back in the day, like when you were younger, but you felt the emotions of the song, but you weren't going through what the song, was talking about? Like, I would be in the shower listening to like Confessions, and I don't have no kid. I don't got no kid on the way, and I'm over here like talking about what? But I just remember that album was a great album, and I remember how the drums sound. It was just, everything was just nostalgic, and I want to bring that feeling back. I just love that era of music. And if I can just contribute any way to make, bring that vibe back again, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what's been happening. And that's my sound too. So when people hear my, my music or my project, it doesn't sound different. They can just, it's like, oh, wow, his music is still, his original music is good too. It's not, I'm making all these covers and it's like, oh, I mean, his mashups are good, but his music is trash. It's like, no, it's a good balance of both,
Yeah. So what are the feedback that you've gotten from these mashups from your audience or the people that follow you?
Man, it's been insane. I've gotten messages and reposts from her, Tank, Teddy Riley, Kim. I actually met Kim.
I love Kim. I'm a big fan of Kim.
I did a mashup of Love Calls mashed with Silk Sonic, Leave the Door Open. And his wife saw it and she tagged him. I didn't know it was his wife at first. And I went on her page. I'm like, oh, that's dope. This is his wife. And then the next day, he was like, yo, this cat is crazy, man. He posted the full video on his page. I was like, oh, shoot, that's dope. So I saw him come. He was on his way to Atlanta, so I wanted to meet him in person. And I just wanted to meet him because he's, one of my favorite artists. So while I was in line, his manager was like, is your name Remey Williams? I said, yeah, that's me. He said, yo, Kim wants to meet you. He said, he really loves your music and what you're doing. And I actually have a video. I had to record it, but he was like, "Bro, you cold, boy." He was like, "I mean, hopefully we get to work together." And meeting Tank, I got a chance to meet Tank, and he's one of my, man, I learned.
Tank is that dude.
Yo.
Tank is that dude. And even Kim is that dude. Even his upbringing, because coming from Detroit and how he got on the music game. That is a wild story too. And then Tank, you already know how he was being a singer, songwriter, producer, singing backup and working his way up.
Yep.
And then to see you in those circles, like I feel like they could all resonate with you and your path and what you're doing.
Yeah. When I met Tank, we were playing for summer. We had a show, I think, in Texas, and we were backstage. The show was over, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to be like, hey, I was the guy from the video. I don't do that stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Everybody was just introducing, we were just introducing ourselves to him. So I was like, yo, what's going on, Tank? I'm like, I'm Remy. He's like, nah, nigga, don't do that, bro. Don't do that, man. So his boy, why am I going blank? Jay Holiday. He was there. He was at the festival too. He was like, "Nigga, do you know who this is?" He was like, "Who?" And it blew me away when he said this. He was like, "Remember the dude I was showing you, and we were just scrolling, watching all his cover mashups." He was like, "I told you." I was like, "Yo, this is the dude that be killing them mashups." He was like, "This is him." Dude, Jay Holiday was like, "Nigga, you cold, bro." And for me to hear, Tank say that, I mean, it was a dope moment, man. So to be able to meet them and get support and love from them, and other artists as well, man. Alex Isley have reposted, and just getting thousands of shares, and man, even I've gotten booked from these videos. You know what I mean? It's actually changing my life, and I appreciate every single person who really rocks with these videos and these covers. I made a mashup mixtape that I put out on YouTube, and it was for the summer, just for people to just vibe to. And people love it. I've been getting great responses, and I'm just happy that I could, do that for people. I'm happy that I can put out, these mashups, or, do this for this amount of time, and people really rock with it. So I got more on the way too. So.
Oh yeah, you got plenty more, and there's so many hits out there that you could keep going and mix and mash together, especially from all generations.
Yeah,
You're only kind of pulling from our generation a little bit. Could you imagine pulling from like your father, your mother's generation, or even today's generation of R&B music? There's so much that you could really get. So, how do you come up with the chemistry of your mashups and deciding what tracks work well together based off of your palette of R&B that you've learned and listened to over the years that really sticks with you? How does that all come together to make it work?
I literally just drive and just listen to the radio. I'll just listen to the radio, and I'll have on like an old school radio station, or a radio station that's playing old school music. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'll maybe sing another song with it, or another song will come to mind if I'm listening to the chord progressions. Like songs like Make It Last Forever by Keith Sweat, or what's another one? Soul Sister by Bilal.
Yep.
Like songs like that, I just feel like, okay, I can take those chords and you can mash it up with something. You know what I mean? I just got to find the right song that actually sounds good with it and make it my own. I'm not just going to put the instrumental out there, Bilal's Soul Sister instrumental, and when I know I can produce, I'm going to use all my talents. So
that's really dope, because I remember there was a time where before the mashups, you were actually doing those kind of remixes where you would play an instrument and do one chord, and then you would do another chord, and then you would make it all work together.
Yep.
You really have an ear for music and production to know what fits.
That's how music production works for me. I'll hear a track, if it's something that I really know is going to be really good, I'll hear the whole track in my head, and everything that I hear in my head, I just produce it until I get it all out.
And now that this is all happening, the mashups are hot, you're killing the game, you got your solo album out, and now you're nominated for 2 Grammys, bro.
Yeah, man.
How does it feel? And how does it feel for your work to be recognized? All the things you put in. What was it like even working on the albums with P. Diddy Love album, which was a great album, by the way.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that personally, as well as Summer Walker's Clear album. That was Clear 2.
Yeah.
That was really dope too. I really enjoyed that as well.
Man, I'm glad you did, man. We worked hard, man. It feels good. It's cool, man, to be considered, a Grammy nominee. I'll be honest. It's bittersweet because, my father is no longer here. So when I got the news that I was Grammy nominated, like I told you earlier, he was he was the first person I wanted to call. But I am grateful to be considered a nominee, to be in this position, this place to create music, and it's nominated for Grammys. That's a musician's, that's an artist, that's their dream. That's their goal. Because
you've been to the Grammys before, but now how does it feel to have something with your name attached to it?
Man, it feels good. Like I went for the first time last year, and I was just going just to go. But, I told myself last year, because I wasn't nominated, I was like, no worries, next year I'll be nominated. And I was speaking it, and here we are. I manifested something that actually, it came true. And here we are now. So, man, it feels great. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not surprised. It's because it's something that I talked about the last year, and I put the work in, and I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Well, what did the work consist of when you're working on an album like Diddy's, like Summer's?
Yeah.
These are very high-profile, iconic figures, iconic artists that you're working with. And now, because we know how these writing camps go, they're bringing all sorts of producers, all sorts of writers in, and they're deciding to choose your work, your words, your production to fit their narrative and their story when they release this. How is that like?
It's, you got to put that work in. I feel like with Diddy, it gave me a whole new level of work ethic. Because I wanted to be a part of that. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I'm leaving here with something. I came all the way.
I'm leaving here with something. What's up?
I came all the way to Miami. It was me, my boy London, Slim Wave, and we all went down there. Oh, and Rorik, we all went down there and we were working. And the first night, Diddy was cool. He was like, nah, it's cool. He was like, I just need a little bit more. It's not where I want it to be. Personally, for me, I didn't like that. It just didn't sit well for me. So when we went back to the hotel, we worked. I think we got back probably maybe 5, 6 in the morning. I got some rest, and I think our session wasn't until probably 8 or 9. I was just making drum loops and just making tracks from the time I woke up until the time of the session. And actually, no, that session, it was a little earlier. I think it was earlier than 8. But I just knew, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna be on this project. This wasn't just a free trip to Miami for me. I'm like, I want to be on this. This is something that I want to be on.
Because that's another thing, being in the session where it's time to showcase your work and actually being heard. And then the artist saying, this is dope. I got to have this. No questions asked. Not even think like, I'm not sure, but like, I got to have it. I feel it. I relate to it.
Yeah.
I resonate with it. What is that like?
So sometimes it's not like that. Like I think sessions are different. Like we'll just work on a bunch of tracks, and sometimes the artist may be in there, or he may not, or he or she may not be in the room. But like if I may not be in the room, but I send out packs of drums, or maybe even the full instrumentals. Sometimes you may have to work, in different rooms. Like I'll be in, at my house. The other person will be out of town, town. But it just depends. It just depends on the flow. Like now, there are some times where if you're working on something specifically for the artist and the artist comes in and we're just building the track from scratch, we'll do that. And then we'll just make something great while we're there, And if they don't like the way the track is going, we'll just start something totally different.
And that's one version of working with Diddy, but then how is it now working with someone you're familiar with, Summer Walker, and then putting the music together the way that y'all were doing it, and now it's being recognized amongst the masses?
Well, it was a little easier because with my guys, we the band, pretty much. It's me, my boy Larry, Darnell, and Ja on guitar. We do a lot of jam sessions, and it's easy for us to come up with stuff. You know what I mean? For Summer, because we know her vibe, we know her. It's easy. So she'll tell us exactly what she's looking for, and we'll rock out until we get it. And once she hears it, she's like, "Nah, I like that." And now she's at the point where she knows the kind of sound. She knows the right plugin. She'll say like, "Hey, I want reverb on this. I want this gated. Can you fix the EQ on this? I want a rim shot on this, and then the snare on that." So it's easier to work with her because she knows what she wants. You know what I mean? On certain tracks. And if she doesn't, we'll just work on certain stuff. From the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Man, that is so wild, because I know that there's a process that you have to like really go through to be able to get to that point, to get the validation, to be able to get the feedback, and do it in high pressure situations. What helps you just rise to the occasion every time? Because it's one thing to do it as a solo artist, but then having to do that for other people at this high level, where they're trying to garner the attention of millions of people, not only in the States, but across the world. Your music right now is being heard across the world globally, and people are loving it. Like someone is playing your music right now in the world. So, so how do you really get up for those moments and really show out when the lights are on?
It's easy because I think it just all comes with confidence. If you in confidence and consistency, if you're in the gym practicing your gift every day, it's easy to show up. It's showtime. You know what you know how to do what you do. God put you on this earth to do what you're doing now. He gave you the gift. And if you're working hard and practicing it every day, there's no second guessing. You know how to put on. So for me, anytime I make a mashup mixtape, anytime I'm working on my project, I know exactly what I want. I know what I'm going to do, and let's get the work done, Man,
that's really dope. Well, I just want the people to hear it first that Remey is going to be a Grammy winner right here on camera. He's going to get it. I am so excited for you, bro.
Thank you.
And I can't wait till the awards come on and it happens and your category is announced and you win and you're on that stage and you're doing your thing with your team and everybody that put the hard work in. Y'all deserve it, man.
Thank you.
For real. And I also want your solo career to take off on top of that, bro.
Man, I appreciate that, man.
Yes. Remey, you've been in the game for so many years. You've had so many influences and so many beautiful experiences. But I want to know, who are the artists you like to listen to day and night, when you're at home, when you're by yourself, when you're with your wife, or when you're spending time with your friends? Who is on your playlist? Who would you consider your top 5 R&B artists?
R&B artists. Tank, Joe, Teddy Pendergrass, Usher. R&B, right?
Yes, R&B.
Mario, but the old stuff.
The old Mario. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know any of his new songs.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't listened to any of his new songs even past the verses, but his old stuff, fire. Yeah. All of that.
Yeah.
You were actually on the stage with Usher during the BET Award social distancing episode. And you were literally face to face with him while you were playing the drums and he was on the stage. How was that like being next to one of your other musical talents?
That was dope. We were shooting. I think we were like in Arizona. I think we were either in Arizona or Vegas. And at first I was nervous. You know what I'm saying? It's Usher, man, but yo, bro can sing, man. Like, no, he can really sing. And we were just having jam sessions. He was like, no, let me see if you know this. And he would just bust out with a song and we would just play nonstop. And they had to tell us, shout out to Lacey. Lacey was the director. She said, stop. That's it. No more singing. No more jamming. Stop playing. But he could jam out all night. He's mad cool. Super cool.
Out of your top 5, you also mentioned Tank and got to interact with him. What was that like in being able to have those kind of conversations? And what did you pick up from him?
Well, the one conversation that I did have with him, as far as like, you know, the introduction with the covers, he just told me to keep going, man. He said that I'm an amazing singer, bro. He was like, bro, he's going to support where supporters do. And he said, man, there was no way he can scroll past the video that he saw and not share it or repost it. He was like, bro, you're dope. You know, so I appreciated that. That was love. So
that's really dope.
Yeah, man.
So if you had your choice of a dream artist that you would like to add to either a single or an album that you're working on that you'd like to collaborate with, who would that be?
Jesus.
And it could be an artist who's either passed or still alive today.
It has to be like an artist. Can it be? Or it could just be anybody.
Anybody. Anyone that inspires you, bro.
I would say my dad. I never got a chance to produce a track with my dad. It would have been dope if he played bass on something and I produced it and I played drums. Yeah, that would have been fire. Because he had so many dope ideas, it would have been crazy. And doing a music video to that would have been crazy.
Man, that's awesome.
I'm just thinking about the whole rollout and all that. It would have been crazy.
Yeah, you've done some pretty dope rollouts. I don't know if you remember, but you actually shot a music video here in Atlanta based off of one of your singles on your album 08105, and it was called I'm Good. And you asked a few of your friends to come out and asked me to come out, and I was so excited, and then I came. And I didn't make the video, I didn't make the cut, but it's okay.
Yeah, but we had to reshoot it, man. And I was like, I don't like that. I didn't like the way it was shot, man. I was like, nah, I got to do it again. So,
and see, that's a good thing to think about as far as like who you're hiring to shoot and be there. I didn't even know that. I didn't know, but I still really loved being a part of it because I loved seeing your musical journey because I knew that you had the juice, you had the sauce. I knew that you were next, and I knew you had a great vision.
Yeah.
And I'm even thankful that you even asked me to be a part of it. And I've always really enjoyed coming to all of your Atlanta shows, everything that you've been putting out there, and really just showing that you have the talent, the confidence, the swag to be out there and share and showcase your art, man. I really love that.
Yeah, man. Thank you, bro.
Thank you so much for having a simple conversation with me. Thank you so much for spending time and being able to share your story, bro.
Man, thank you. I'm happy to be on the show.
Man, that's what's up.
Yes,
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you.
All right.